don't mind Zeke and Nia. They're just casually taking... they're dipping their toes into the toxic water. It's fine. Hey, welcome back to more Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time, we got here to Spirit Crucible Elpis, which is, whole thing. And this time, we'll start doing a little bit of actual exploration of the area. Of course, we're at the... okay, we had the midpoint of, like, a bunch of story stuff going on. I would... well, yeah, I would say our first time to Fonts, it was probably the first instance of that. This is kind of like the... this is like the lead up to the end of the game, where we have a lot of story stuff going on. And I always like those in JRPGs. I get why they can be maybe a little bit tedious at times. But still, I think it's nice. Of course, we do have a lot of stuff that we can go out, and a lot of stuff that we can talk about. Again, talked about a little bit of things last time, but now we actually have a bit of time to really start going to a depth about a few things. And again, it's like there's a lot of story stuff going on. I love the little bit with Pyra there. There's a line earlier on about very early on. It's right after we escape the Titan battleship with Nia. Pyra has the line of... what's the exact wording? You know, one stabbing in the back, I don't have a knife, or something like that. And, like, the thing is that, obviously, in the moment, it seems like, oh, it's just, you know, it's a funny line, oh, look, she's so naive, or whatever. But it actually ends up being some foreshadowing, where... I'll fight you, I suppose.
Flora heals an aching soul.
It ends up being some foreshadowing because, like, I feel like Pyra knew the entire time that she was gonna end up doing that. She was going to end up, you know, like, figure out, hey, they're gonna be here. I'm gonna fight them. I'm gonna, you know, and they're probably going to win. So she really doesn't have too many qualms about, you know, betraying the team. She doesn't really have any qualms about doing things for her own purposes. And I just really like that little bit, that Pyra isn't a perfect character. She's not someone who has all these, you know, she's not going out there and being, you know, not going out there and succeeding. She's not going out, Jesus. She's not going out there and she's, you know, she's not just a vessel for the plot. She has her own motivations going on. And you see those come to light right there, and, like, it's just, it's such a minor thing that you do have, you know, that's such a, oh, is it? You know, I think I might be thinking, like, as we progress, I think there's points where you have, less access. Something along those lines. Jesus Christ, that does so much damage. Yeah, Elpis isn't immune to Elpis, but, like, there's just... Elpis is such a cool area because it has that. It ends up being one of the more difficult areas in the game just because you are pretty stifled in terms of what you can do. Like, you're held back in terms of... so much damage. You're held back because you can't really get a full blade combo in very easily unless you... oh! No, who has Copy Buster right now? I don't think anyone has Copy Buster right now. And Nia's gonna go down pretty soon, I think. Yeah, Elpis just ends up being a really cool area. And, okay, so, one of my big things in any sort of fiction is I want there to be... oh, oh he's totally gonna fall off the cliff. But Like, there's... I always have something where I want there to be, you know, like, the characters to be...
Talk to them. Wait, no.
Naturally survive.
That's
That's surprising.
Break! Zekanate, I got this!
And really, can we not fight on this?
Yep!
Really? Oh, that's so lame. No. Okay, okay, he's still in the fight. What? No, come on.
I shall defend you to the last, my lady.
For the support.
Thank you. But I always have a problem where, like, I want there to be, you know, relatively fair abilities, and some of the blade abilities are... That was a whole lot of bullshit. Some of them are kind of bullshit, speaking of. Like, Franlenorn, I can shut off what blades can do. Okay, that's kind of stupid. Briona's, you know, pretty much any ability that the blades have in cutscenes, so stupid. And Jin's especially. Oh boy, Jin has such a bullshit power. I can control every energy particle. Bitch, what the fuck? Like, okay, I get it, you want to have a tough villain, but I feel like the most anime that this game gets is the different powers of blades that are shown in cutscenes. Like, again, it's just kind of stupid at a point. Well, we haven't really seen too much of Power of Mithra, I would think. Okay, they have foresight, but okay. Back to Jin, like, they have foresight, and, you know, they're the Aegis. They're supposed to be the most powerful blade. You know, that's kind of their whole thing. We'll get into more details about the Aegis at a later point, once we get more into what their whole story is. But, like, you know, the Aegis is supposed to be the most powerful blade. Then you have Jin, who just kind of jabronis her. And it's like, okay, really? Like, that seems a bit unnecessary. Like, it's, I don't... You have the, you know, you have these characters who are supposed to be the strongest of the strong, and then you just have someone who, relatively speaking, is just a random blade. Like, you know, same sort of deal as effectively no different from Wolfric, no different from Cosmos, no different from anything like that, and he kind of just easily beats the shit out of everything to the point where he kind of ends up feeling more like the main villain than Malos. It's a similar situation to N and Z in 3. Of course, I think this situation is pulled off a lot better than it is in 3.
Let us face the day with a renewed vigor.
It's because I think Malos is a better Zed than Zed. That makes sense.
My lady.
For the last time, I'm fine. Why don't you just worry about yourself?
But...
You got to admire Shaled over there. He just put it right out there.
Hmm?
And here I am. Dromark. I'm gonna put myself to the test. Right here. I've decided.
My lady. Very well.
This mist makes me feel like I'm swimming through the cloud sea.
This mist is produced when a fossilized Titan body reacts with the atmosphere. It's why it's so hard to breathe down here.
Nia?
What now?
Are you in pain?
I'm struggling to breathe like everyone else. And I'm a little dizzy, that's all.
Oh, right. When that happens, it's best to just try and empty your head of all thoughts.
What?
It's an old salvager trick. When you swim down deep, it feels like your head's going to implode. You just go with it, don't fight it. Then you stop noticing the pressure. Why not give it a go?
Empty my head, eh? You mean I have to start acting as daft as you? Tall order?
Hey, that's not very nice.
Everyone! Over here! Tora, think this way, lead down!
It certainly doesn't look like a natural formation.
Maybe it was grave robbers.
There's not too much worth stealing round here. Well, apart from...
Whatever it was that Adam hid down here.
just a guess. It's possible that Jin and his accomplices have been here.
Then, they found out about the sunken ship and went to Argentum.
Still just a guess, but a pretty good one.
Then there won't be anything left to find, will there? Sheesh.
Well, if that was the case, then you'd expect them to already have the third sword.
But they clearly don't have it.
No, I do not think Adam would let the sword be so easily found.
No point in worrying. Let's just press on.
Punch. Dun dun dun. I don't actually remember how long Spirit Crucible Opus is. I don't think it's a super long area.
Look what I found!
But
Congratulations.
I could be wrong. Of course, it's another one of those many areas that has a lot more to explore otherwise. Like outside of just where we're required to go. Of course, lots of... there's a fair few unique enemies out here. None super high level. I want to say that Elpis is probably the most evenly leveled area in the game. Probably just because of its quirkiness in terms of having blades be a little bit weaker. So I think that does kind of help things out. I think there's a couple like level 60s in the area, but I don't think there's too much. There might be like one level 60. I know of a quest enemy that is 63. I want to say 63, and it's a tough fight. But again, that's quest only. So yeah, for the most part, you have a couple of like level 4, it's high 40s, low 50s. I don't think you really get too much variety in Elpis, which again, I'm fine with. You have the extra difficulty of being a little bit more held back in terms of what you have available.
I'll strive to match your expectations.
Yeah, we'll toss Poppy Buster on Zeke. But yeah, Elpis is a really interesting. I love the world building. Again, I've mentioned it a number of times. I think that Xenoblade, especially 2 and 3, have tremendous world building. I think, overall, 2 has better world building. I think the general concept of the world in 3 is a little bit more interesting, but kind of the specifics that they have in 2 are so cool. How you have, all these titans, you have kind of, the way that it sounds like, almost like the titan that's holding Elpis, or titans that hold Elpis. Not fully certain exactly what it is. But they're almost like rotting from the inside. Where you have, obviously you have a lot of things in here. You have, because, Morag mentions that, the particles are similar to when you have, a titan kind of decaying. So, having this, having it, basically you're inside of an actively dying titan, as opposed to on the outside of the actively dying titan like you are with Moradane. but it just leads to such an interesting thing because it's so different. There's a lot of openings that Xenoblade 2's specific world leads to that you don't really get in any other situations, and I think they knock it out of the park almost every single time. It's so good.
Rex? We've come a long way. I think it's time for a break.
What? But
Hold your horses. There's a long way to go yet. Hey, you two near. Come rest your head on my lap if you like.
Why don't you rest your head in your ass?
I'm sorry, everyone. I had no idea.
There's no need to apologize. I understand.
Poppy, now is good time to cool drive furnace.
Aye, aye, Master Pawn.
Hot.
Master Pawn. Poppy is sorry.
Emergency air. It might help.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, not like that. You have to hold your nose and then inhale really deeply. Now stretch out and puff out your chest.
Is this another of your salvager tricks?
Go on, just try it.
Whoa, that really did the trick.
Right? When I was starting out, this was one of the first things the other salvagers taught me. Even though they acted like my parents, they never really taught me anything worthwhile. I did manage to pick up a couple of useful tricks, though.
Parents. Blah. My dad was real enough, but I can't say he really taught me anything either. He was a well-known lord in Gormott, a real big cheese. He made me study hard, but it was all how to be a proper lady, which fork to use. Nothing that's doing me any good now, just useless shite.
You were some kind of high society princess. I can't picture it.
Shut it, you. I hated studying. But, looking back, those were the happiest times of my life. There was my dad, and my big sis, the three of us.
You had a sister?
Yeah. She was very frail. I spent a lot of time at her bedside. My dad brought doctors from all over to try and help her. He tried so hard. It was all he thought about. After that point, my memories aren't so happy.
Nia.
Dad spent all his money on chasing a cure and lost his position as a lord. From then on, we became drifters. It was a tough life. It took its toll on my sister. She died not long after. Anyway, I'm sorry for talking your ear off. Thanks for the salvager trick. It really worked. Sneaky git. If you had this all along, why did you hold out on me? I feel much better. Shall we go, Rex?
I feel like you probably could have done a better place to rest than, you know, on the spider webs. Whatever, who am I to stop you? But that leaves us at pretty much perfect timing. Next time, we'll make our way to the lower level. And I think we'll finish off Elpis then? I might actually be able to just platform down there. I don't fully remember. But until then, see you guys later.